Hello, it's me again in another episode of Culture Mosaic on VTV International. In the next 30 minutes, we will soak up in various art genres from classical ballet dance to the experimental music in the Hanoi Sound Stuff Festival. And in our segment of On the Mic, we will have a chance to take a glance at the last 25 years of Vietnam through the lens of an American photographer. So let's start our show today with the headlines. First, let's find out how ballet is attracting hobbyists of all ages. American photographer Catherine Carnell celebrates 25 years of photography in Vietnam. And join in the thrilling atmospheres as Hanoi experiments with sound stuff again. And first, let's review the cultural highlights from the last week. Rising star Nguyễn Trần Trung Quân won the New Artist and Album of the Year at the Cống Hiến or Devotion Music Awards. When a third-year student at the Vietnam National Academy of Music fulfilled the promise he showed in finishing among the top 4 contestants in a television singing contest in 2012. Composer Phạm Toàn Thắng won the Musician of the Year award, while pop star Mỹ Tâm was named Singer of the Year for the 3rd time. She also won several major prizes, including the best-selling Vietnamese Artist of the World Music Awards and the Asia's Music Legend Award at the Top Asia Corporate Ball in 2014. The Devotion Music Awards was established in 2004 to promote Vietnamese music. This year, more than 100 journalists from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City were invited to vote for their favorite shows and performers in 7 categories. Now, currently, Vietnam only has 3 fine art museums, one in Hanoi, another in Da Nang, and a third in Ho Chi Minh City. With such a limited amount, it is open to debate as to whether or not these fine art museums can satisfy the demand from visitors, the domestic public, as well as specialists in the field. Let's find out more in the following report.
Vietnam Fine Art Museum. Originally, the building was built by French architects in the late 1930s. Later on, it was given a Vietnamese traditional communal house remake. The museum, as the name suggests, contains the finest collection of artwork in the country. According to Trang Thanh Hiền, an art researcher, the museum can be an ideal place for visitors to take a visual trip, but for art critics like herself, the museum falls short of its true potential.
Cái hệ thống tư liệu để liên quan đến cái hiện vật đó thì lại thực sự là chưa được ổn lắm, và cái cách người ta làm tư liệu cho một cái hiện vật thì có lẽ là chúng ta chưa có một cái chuyên môn sâu đối với cả cái việc bảo tàng. Nên ví dụ như chúng tôi là những cái người nghiên cứu ấy, thì chúng tôi muốn là tìm một cái gốc gác sâu hơn đối với cả những cái hiện vật đó, thì thông thường thì khi chúng tôi đến bảo tàng là hầu như là không có. Và hai nữa là đối với cả cách trưng bày ở trong cái bảo tàng ấy thì các cái hệ thống hiện vật đấy nó không được trưng bày thành một cái hệ thống, và khi mà các hiện vật nó không được trưng bày vào hệ thống ấy thì công việc nghiên cứu của chúng tôi thì cũng gặp rất là nhiều khó khăn.
For artists like Bùi Hoài Mai, he hopes that the Fine Art Museum can gain in popularity within the art community. If it is restored to its original conception as an art pool, the museum could be a go-to place for local contemporary artists.
Họa sĩ Việt Nam lại muốn được đưa tranh của mình sang bảo tàng Singapore. Nhưng tại sao họ lại tự hào khi họ có tranh ở bảo tàng Singapore mà không phải rằng là luôn luôn nói rằng là tôi tự hào vì tôi có tranh ở bảo tàng mỹ thuật Việt Nam? Đó là vấn đề mà các người làm bảo tàng phải xem lại. Mình đã tạo được đủ cái uy tín, đủ cái sức hút để thực ra một đời họa sĩ phấn đấu cũng chỉ để mà có bức tranh ở đó trong bảo tàng lưu lại.
Aside from its role of nurturing local artists, the Fine Arts Museum needs to provide more services, such as educational tours for visitors.
Chúng tôi cũng dần dần có những cái đào tạo rồi có những gửi đi đào tạo nâng cao trình độ cũng như là các cái điều kiện để đáp ứng được cái cơ sở vật chất cũng như là các cái điều kiện về trang thiết bị cùng với cả nghiên cứu.
In line with improving the capacity of its personnel, fine art museums in Vietnam now have to face the challenge of privatization. To maintain its position as the national archive of the finest artworks in the country, more efforts will be needed from both the museum and wider society.
On April the 7th, an exhibition on historical evidence of Spratly and Paracel archipelagos was opened as part of the Bến Tre Coconut Festival 2015. On display are 17 documents from the Nguyen dynasty, serving as an important legal basis for affirming Vietnam's sovereignty over its sea and islands. The collection of maps, documents, 4 atlas published by China, 102 publications issued by various European countries on the issue. The event is aimed at raising people's awareness, patriotism, and solidarity to protect the national sovereignty over its seas and islands. Moreover, the exhibition is also a chance to collect more precious documents about the East Sea. The central city of Hue is well known for its historical treasures, in particular its Han Nom documents. Many of those are owned by the general public and are now in bad condition due to inadequate preservation methods. This has prompted a project to collect and digitize Han Nom documents in 2009. We have more in the following report.
Since 2009, Hue City has carried out a project of digitizing Han Nom documents owned by the general public. Participants gather archives of these documents at each village in the city. Then they are restored and digitized at general libraries in Hue and Ho Chi Minh City. Finally, the libraries keep the digital forms while the originals are sent back to the owners with detailed preservation instructions.
Đến thời điểm ở Huế là đã phát hiện được là 3 cái sách đồng rồi, và những số cái sắc phong rất có giá trị, mà có cái tuổi thọ nó rất là lâu, ví dụ trên thế kỷ thứ 18, là những cái tài liệu này là hiếm ở đâu có, mà chúng ta phát hiện được và chúng ta biết và chúng ta giúp cho cái gia đình dòng họ đó bảo quản cho nó tốt hơn, và chúng ta phục vụ cái bản sao để cho cộng đồng người sử dụng biết.
Han Nom documents owned by the general public are usually kept in wooden boxes. Due to improper preservation, many of them are now severely damaged. Since the project was launched, more than 150,000 pages of document has been restored and digitized. The project has also gradually raised public awareness about the conservation of these valuable documents.
Tiếp tục cái kế hoạch cho 2015 đến 2020 là phải tiếp tục cái chương trình này, bởi vì những gì mà chúng tôi đã làm từ năm 2009 đến nay cũng chỉ là rất nhỏ nhoi mà rất ít ỏi, rất khiêm tốn so với khối lượng di sản Han Nom khổng lồ đang tiềm ẩn trong làng xã, trong tư gia và trong nhân dân của chúng ta hiện nay.
The project has greatly contributed to preserving Vietnam's Han Nom heritage and encouraged the public to become more engaged in heritage preservation efforts.
Even though a cold spell has hit Hanoi this week, summer is right around the corner. And in the capital city, new fitness classes are popping up every week. Besides popular choices like yoga and aerobics, more and more health-conscious people are seeking out ballet as a way to stay fit, build endurance, and bring balance to their life. In this week's Culture and Lifestyle, let's find out how ballet is attracting hobbyists of all ages.
This is a ballet class for adults, one of many that have opened in Hanoi to cater for fitness needs. Hong, a reporter by profession, first started ballet when she was a kid. After a long break, she finally took it up again a few months ago.
Nó giúp cho mình thứ nhất là thỏa được cái sự yêu thích, cái niềm đam mê của mình. Cái thứ hai là nó cũng thật sự rất là tốt cho sức khỏe, luyện được cái sự dẻo dai cũng như là giúp cho mình cảm thấy có một cái giờ phút ấy mà mình được giải tỏa những cái áp lực trong cái công việc hàng ngày để nghĩ đến một cái khác thì có âm nhạc với cả những cái điệu múa.
Meanwhile, Hiền was inspired to start ballet after sending her own daughter to a class.
Thứ nhất là nó vừa mang tính chất nghệ thuật nhưng mà thêm vào đấy nữa là nó tạo cho người ta một cái dáng dấp rất là đẹp và đi đến đâu cũng cảm thấy sự tự tin. Tuy nhiên là ở lớn tuổi rồi thì tập nó sẽ khó hơn.
Indeed, a thorough warm-up is not to be undermined, which is why the 90-minute class reserves up to 40 minutes for warm-up. This is also when the most calories are burned.
Đối với lứa tuổi trưởng thành thì khi chúng ta bắt buộc chúng ta ép dẻo này, co giãn thì chúng ta sẽ rất là đau. Với những người mà chúng ta cần phải có một cái sự khởi động lâu hơn để người ta giúp cho người ta có cái phải nóng được cái cơ tốt hơn ấy, thì khi mà người ta vào làm người ta sẽ dễ dàng hơn.
The combination of intense workout and graceful dance moves can work wonders for the dancers.
Mỗi một ngày tôi thấy họ đẹp lên mỗi ngày. Họ biết cách làm đẹp cho cơ thể của mình, biết cách tạo hình, tạo tư thế để cho họ có thể đẹp hơn. Thậm chí là cái cơ thể của họ dần dần đẹp lên.
While many grown-ups might take up ballet as a way to achieve better shape or better work-life balance, more and more parents are sending their kids to ballet classes to nurture the child's natural flexibility, focus and artistic sense. Let's visit one such class. Far from the strenuous workouts that the grown-ups do, this class is more about practicing good posture. Kids get to learn the ABC of ballet and simple steps and combinations.
Con học ballet được 5 năm rồi và con thích nhất là được tập những bài nhảy. Con đi học ballet con thích học múa. Con thích nhất là được uốn dẻo.
Có những động tác thì khó nhớ lắm ạ. Bọn con làm đi làm lại vẫn chưa thấy ăn vào đầu ạ.
Khi các bạn vào lớp múa thì bọn mình sẽ rèn là dáng dấp, cho nên là bọn mình sẽ rèn về chân tay sẽ thẳng, rèn về dáng lưng, rèn về dáng đầu, và bọn mình sẽ rèn là hóp bụng. Các bạn bắt đầu đi học múa thì sẽ là từ 4 tuổi trở lên, và mình nghĩ là cũng nên từ 4 tuổi. Khi mà thời điểm từ 4 tuổi, 5 tuổi ấy, cơ thể các bạn ấy còn mềm mại, cho nên là các bạn ấy dễ để ép chân tay.
While having some fun after school is probably the most immediate motivation for the kids, parents see in ballet a key to the well-rounded development of the children.
Mình thấy là sau khi học thì con về phần âm nhạc thì con phát triển nó rất là tốt. Và cái quan trọng nhất khi mà ban đầu mình muốn cho con đi học đấy là về sự tự tin. Và sau khi con học xong thì con rất là tự tin. Về nhà con cũng tự tập những cái bài uốn dẻo rất là khó ở nhà. Thì mình thấy cũng đấy là một cái mà để con vận động cơ thể, một hình thức tập luyện thể dục cho con ấy.
Ballet is about balance. It's about strength and grace and focus. While a professional career in ballet is probably not for everybody, every practitioner, young and old, can take away something from this centuries-old art.
You are tuning in to Cultural Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their work to our viewers out there. So do not go away. We have a lot more in this week's installment coming up for you in just a moment. An American photographer will celebrate her last 25 years in Vietnam with an exhibition showing how the country and its people has changed. The name of the exhibition is Vietnam 25 Years, Documenting a Changing Country, which presents an intimate view from the lens of Catherine Carnell, known for her National Geographic works covering the globe over the last 3 decades. On this week's editions of On the Mic, our VTV reporter Minh Trang had an exclusive interview with her right before the official opening ceremony of the exhibition.
Yes. Maestro. Wow.
Motivation, opportunity, and a personal invitation took American photographer Catherine Carnell to Vietnam for the first time in July 1990. Catherine Carnell's retrospective, Vietnam 25 Years of Documenting a Changing Country, spans nearly her entire career as a professional photographer. The exhibition includes photographs taken during the years of the most dramatic change seen in modern-day Vietnam from 1990 to 2014, while on assignment for National Geographic, Smithsonian, as well as many self-assigned trips.
Hi, Catherine. It's great to have you here in Hanoi this time with your exhibition of photos taken in Vietnam over the spread of 25 years. Tell me a little bit about how this exhibition came about.
So this exhibition spans my photography from 1990 to late 2014, so just about 25 years of shooting in Vietnam. They start from my first trip in 1990, which are these images right here. Those days, that month that I was here, what I saw was a very dark, sad, austere time. I noticed, there was no color. I found it to be beautiful, but full of pathos and sadness. When I came back in 1994, Vietnam was open for business. And businessmen were coming in droves to, start new ideas. And there was a sense of eagerness and hope. And my photographs, I think, depict this. They're jolly. They're a little quirky, they're fun. And then the exhibition shows New Vietnam. So when I say New Vietnam, I mean 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. The Vietnam of today, which of course is still changing all the time. And those images are full of energy and life and vibrancy and color and youth and tall buildings and new suburbs.
Can you remember how many photos that you took of Vietnam over that 25 years?
Thousands. Most of the time when I come to Vietnam for a shoot, I stay for the month. The month, usually the visa is for a month and I stay for 30 days. Sometimes some trips have been shorter. But on a 1-month shoot, for example, for National Geographic, I was here in April 2014 on assignment. I shot 16,000 photographs, and that was just one shoot.
After 3 decades of emerging into the world of photography, and exactly 25 years since her first day photographing Vietnam, this April, Catherine Carnell put together her first ever exhibition depicting dozens of photos selected from thousands she took during her trips to Vietnam over the years. The exhibition will last until May the 8th at Art Vietnam Gallery, 24 Le Quốc Sư Street in Hanoi, in celebration of the 20-year anniversary of diplomatic relations between America and Vietnam, as well as the 40-year anniversary of the end of Vietnam War.
What are the focus of these photos that you took and included in this exhibition?
My focus has always been the type of photography that I do, which is photojournalism with a little bit of travel sometimes, and then sometimes social documentary. So the exhibition also has 2 important stories in it, and one is my friendship and my long coverage of General Giap all the way back from 1990 through his funeral and burial in 2013. So an important
aspect of the exhibition is also the legacies of the U.S.-Vietnam War, the sad legacies and also hopeful. Very important to me is the issue of Agent Orange. Most people don't realize that there are babies being born every day, third, now even to fourth generation from those who were directly exposed. These babies are being born with deformities and all sorts of diseases because these diseases are passed down genetically. And it's really important to me for the world to see this. And then we have these beautiful stories of rebuilding and healing, U.S. vets coming back to Vietnam to build schools and clinics, humanitarian aid.
Is there any specific reasons for why you are so interested in taking photos of Vietnam?
You know, the more I come to Vietnam and the more I photograph in Vietnam, the more I want to come back. Now I have these long relationships and friendships. I have so many friends in Vietnam. There's so many stories. There's so many connections. There's serendipity and what the Vietnamese, what you call the gặp duyên, that happens every time that I'm here. I'll turn around and meet somebody whose mother was my translator 20 years ago. For example, just 10 days ago, I got a message. Somebody had seen a photograph I had taken of his family on the train station in Hue, waving goodbye to their relatives on the train that I was in, and I shot out the window. And this photograph was published in an online magazine called Life Force. He saw it, he sent me an email, he said, I happened to notice, and that was taken when my family was saying goodbye to my uncle, whom they thought they would never see again. And it was a momentous day in our lives. It was the splitting apart of our family. And we never knew there was a photographer there taking pictures. And you captured this valuable moment in the history of my family. And this is the kind of thing that happens repeatedly to me. It's a magic, and it's so beautiful. It makes me feel so connected. It makes me feel that my work has value both to an individual family all the way to the U.S. government to try to do something about Agent Orange. So it means something to the single person that I hope I've made happy all the way to the bigger issues.
If you can pick out 5 words to describe yourself and your photography, which words would you choose?
Passionate, loving, excited, curious, grateful, love. Can I keep going?
Yes, of course.
Joy, compassion, sadness, sharing, just appreciating every moment in life together with people.
Well, Catherine, thank you very much for your sharing and your love for Vietnam.
Electro and experimental music lovers these days are living in a unique world of music and art with boundary-pushing sounds, as Hanoi's Soundstuff Festival, the biggest of this kind in Vietnam, has been underway here in Hanoi. Not only reaching broad range of audiences to join experimental performances, the event also connects different cultures as numerous sound artists, DJs from around the world, and international artists of Vietnamese origin are gathering here. Our VTV reporter Dai Chang will bring you the atmosphere right now.
Left Hands were the first piece to be performed at the opening nights of Hanoi Style Stuff. The performance was produced by Vanessa Van Eng Vo, an overseas Vietnamese from the United States, in collaboration with experimental electronic artist Chris Brown. The left hand is a strong image in traditional Vietnamese music, as the art of the melody is believed to be played by the left hand. The two left hands played by Van Eng Vo and Chris Brown revealed a flexible and creative combination which contained an abundance of artistic values.
Cứ lúc nào mà có khả năng, có thời gian thì Vân Ánh đều tham gia vào làm kết hợp âm nhạc của mình với cả những nghệ sĩ như là anh Chris Brown. Vân Ánh muốn chia sẻ cái âm thanh của các nhạc cụ Việt Nam và cái văn hóa truyền thống lâu đời của người Việt mình.
I'm always in love with the instrument dan bao, so I let my computer record the sound of the melody. I'm really taking an impression of that traditional music sound, Vietnamese music sound, and then trying to offer it back, transformed in a different way.
In addition to this impressive performance, the first night gathered together experimental electronic artists from around the globe. The night also witnessed the participation of new generations of Vietnamese artists, including 17-year-old talent Nguyễn Hồng Nhung. These young artists has been mixing sounds and experimental music since he was 10.
Mình diễn trên laptop và tương tác với những kết quả ngẫu nhiên từ máy tính tạo ra. Mình mong đến một sự đa dạng trong màn trình diễn của mình và mang một cái hướng nhìn mới cho âm nhạc thể nghiệm điện tử.
Tôi mong muốn giới thiệu những công chúng Việt Nam những thể loại âm nhạc mới, những cái không gian âm nhạc đa chiều cũng như là những cái cảm nhận khác nhau của âm nhạc đối với cái môi trường phát triển âm nhạc.
Since the 1970s, electronic music has been an important part of the world music. It explores the potentials of artistic creation inside every artist. Electronic music has been combined with other musical genres to create exciting combinations. However, in Vietnam, electronic music is usually believed to refer to dance and club music. In fact, this genre incorporates many kinds of electronic elements containing a complexity in itself and requires profound research as well as endless creativity.
Tôi nghĩ rằng là âm nhạc thể nghiệm Việt Nam đang thấy là đúng xu hướng trên thế giới và nó sẽ cần một thời gian để phát triển. Tuy nhiên là Việt Nam với sự cọ sát giữa văn hóa mới thế giới rất là nhanh thì bây giờ đã có những nghệ sĩ tôi nghĩ là có rất đặc biệt. Cái âm nhạc điện tử tại Việt Nam khi mà mình làm đúng đủ hoàn toàn có thể là phát triển được.
Over the past 7 years, the Hanoi Style Stuff Festival has helped audiences to discover the unexpected sounds of electronic music with the presence of leading musicians. All the artists are working hard to promote Vietnamese electro music to the world, connecting people and demolishing the boundaries between music and imagination. All these efforts aim to promote fashionable music to Vietnamese audiences and create opportunities for Vietnamese people to experience new cultures.
And that is the end of our program. If you would like to provide feedback or comment on anything here on Culture Mosaic, please feel free to email to us at culturemosaic@vtv.vn and make sure to include your name and address. You can also log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more of our program. Do not forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. This is Hoai Lương and goodbye for now.